Hello, Marianne. I'm so excited that you said yes and that you would love to talk with me about your experience with Chameleon Resumes. Thank you so much for being here.
It's great to be here.
So let's jump in. It's a little over a year ago that we worked together. Tell me a little bit about what was going on at the time that prompted you to seek out help and eventually stumble upon us.
Well, first of all, you came highly recommended, but I was pivoting from 30 plus years as a CIO on Wall Street and in financial services and looking really to build my own business of consulting and board work, et cetera. So
Mhm.
it was a combination of having to do my resume and update it, but also present myself in a different way. And it what was really, really helpful was putting in context how the world has moved, particularly post COVID.
Mm,
A lot of us don't keep our resumes up to date, and that's always an issue. But I think also, LinkedIn is so implanted into the recruiting process, and the need for a crisp and powerful, impactful LinkedIn profile, as well as your resume is so critical. And the thing is people get thousands of resumes for a job, and it's essential that you stand out.
agreed.
So
Yeah.
how you've got, they say you have 6 seconds when somebody reads your resume,
Right.
and that's all they're going to take. So how do you show your superpower in 6 seconds? And I think that Chameleon was really terrific at really positioning how you go about writing your resume.
Mhm.
It's and you're famous for your line that it's not a laundry list, like listing all the things you did, or like all the courses you took in school and all the grades you got.
Right, right, right.
Really doesn't distinguish you. It doesn't really tell anybody who you are. And I think the other piece for me, that whole process you go through of questions that are asked on the questionnaire, about how did you achieve what you achieved, what was going on at the time when you were trying to do the project or whatever it was you were initiating. What did you do to overcome obstacles, et cetera, which goes so far beyond I implemented an SAP
Right.
system.
Right. Or you made money or you saved money.
I
Right.
made, yeah, I cut
Yeah,
costs, I increased revenue,
right. It's beyond
the,
that.
the how and what you brought to the table to make it happen, I think is what is critical to zone in on.
What were some like parts of the process that you were surprised by, whether hopefully it was pleasantly surprised, but just surprised by maybe you didn't know, like anything that comes to mind regarding that as you were going through the process that you found that you're like, I didn't expect this as a benefit. I didn't expect this as a residual part of the process.
I was surprised. I don't take this in the wrong way. I was surprised how good you guys are, what you do.
Well, thank you.
Honestly, I mean,
Don't take
no,
that in a bad way
that
at all.
sounds like a strange thing to say, but I just, a lot of these companies would do these things, and they sort of have a cookie cutter approach, and you don't get a lot of value out of them. And maybe they just wordsmith it or something.
Right,
And
right.
I'm a decent writer. I can do the wordsmithing. That's not the problem. So I was really amazed at how you made me think about what my journey had been, and maybe in particular because I've been around the block more times than I'll expose, but your prior experience then feeds into the next experience, and there's all this
Hmm.
connectivity that may not be obvious at the time, but
Right.
will make you better at your next job. And what is the thread that runs through your journey? And I think that your process really helped me unfold that and really think about, additionally, what do I want to do now that I'm pivoting, right?
Right.
Where is it that I want to focus? Um, and it just gave me a tremendous amount of clarity. It was hard.
Yeah.
It took a long time to fill out that damn questionnaire.
It's I'm glad to be clear, right? Because I mean, I think sometimes the good work isn't easy, you know.
Right.
If it was easy, everybody would do it, right? So, but yeah, no, I'm happy to hear you say that it was helpful. Like, how would you say that the having that clarity, how did that help you as networked or interviewed or positioned yourself when you're reaching out to people you knew you didn't know? Like, how did having that clarity help?
Well, it really helps you get the elevator pitch, right? Which is, what are you known for? What have you gotten done? And then, who are you? What do you want to be? What are you looking to do?
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, answering what you can do for them, right? It's not about you, and
Right.
that's why that form of presenting it, rather than just this list of accomplishments, it's really, I've done this, that, and the other thing, this is what I can do for you.
Hmm.
It helps position you in a way, and just have that at your fingertips and have clarity of your own thought. I mean,
Right.
we all think we can easily talk about ourselves,
It's
right? We
true,
lived it.
right?
But then when you actually go to do it in a constructive and concise and
Hmm.
impactful way, it takes thought.
Right.
And I
Yeah.
think working through that was really helpful. Also, just understanding you guys are up to date on the market. What companies are looking for, who's hiring, who's not hiring. For instance, there was a month or so, or I don't know, maybe it was longer than that, but there was you had sent out an email about the fact that this prolonged interview process that's happening, where people, and many of us have been through that, where you go through 10 or 15 interviews and then you know they just don't pull the trigger,
Hmm.
or they hire somebody internal, or the position goes unfilled. And looking at it from the other side of the fence and saying, hey, some of these people are afraid to make a move. They don't know what the economy is going to do. They
Right.
don't know if they should be hiring. They want half the company to interview the person, so that the person doesn't work out, it's not their fault. you
Yeah.
know and it's not something you naturally think about. You internalize it all on your
You
side.
think it's you, yeah.
Yeah, so it's helpful to understand and get a perspective of what's going on the other side of the table.
I think having that, recruiting perspective and knowing what's going on the other side can just help with your confidence, right? Because like you said, you don't
Yeah,
internalize it, you realize there's more to it. And
right.
while it's still disappointing, it doesn't dismiss anyone's feelings. It doesn't compound those
Right.
feelings, and that saves energy. So then you can go do the next approach. I think that like conserving your energy through the job search process is a genuine activity.
Yeah, yeah. And it's not, more times than not, the reason you didn't get the job may have absolutely nothing to do with you.
Yeah, yeah,
It could
it's
be
very
politics,
true.
economics, whatever, who knows. So you just
Having
have to
that
keep
sounding
moving.
board helps to get that
Yeah,
perspective too. So
yeah,
you can just be focused on the next thing instead of miring in what was happening. So,
yeah.
um, in terms of, networking and your outreach, how did the work we do together help you either get better with that or increase the volume, or how did that improve for you? How did that process improve for you?
Well, tremendously, but particularly in how do you leverage social media, right? And
Mhm.
which in most cases is LinkedIn,
Right.
but not having um, really spent a lot of time networking on LinkedIn. You're just always so busy doing your job, and you network internally, but you don't necessarily, have the time to network externally as much as you should. And so, it just how you leverage social media.
Hmm.
I'll be honest, getting comfortable with that, right? I didn't grow up with Facebook and the rest of it, so I'm not used to sort of putting it out there, if you will.
Yeah.
Um, and I think when you work on the LinkedIn profile with you guys, it really, again, that's a whole other media that you just have to really boil it down, right? You don't have a lot of you don't need to go on and on and on and on,
Hmm.
and even just getting involved with podcasts, right?
Right.
Another medium, which is so ironically, you think about the crisp resume.
Right.
On the other hand, a classic interview is almost in between that and a podcast, which is a true conversation,
Right. Yeah.
right? And again, how do you have conversation around um, what you want to get across? Because you have to be able to expand and on everything in your resume too. Like, what are the messages in there, right? Like,
Hmm.
here's the punch, but then when you post something on LinkedIn or whatever it is, or what's important to you, what do you value, those
Hmm.
types of things that you comment on, or it's a way to build your brand,
Right.
basically.
Yeah.
And that concept didn't exactly exist in the years ago. There
Hmm.
wasn't personal brand is, it's been around for a while now, but it's certainly not something, that's been around forever, right? And it's a different thing than being interviewed and telling you what you did
Right.
in your
Right.
job. Yeah, yeah.
The in like what results, like once the we were documents were done and you're going through the outreach process, like what I don't like whether it's direct results or even residual lessons that you still use, even after our engagement was done, like what were some of the direct results and the residual um benefits that you're still seeing today from working together with us?
Well, it definitely it gave me the platform, having the profile and having the resume to network and
Mhm.
you know how you reach out to someone. You even work focus on the emails, right? What do you
Mhm.
put in an email of a cold call or someone that you haven't spoken to in a long time? How do you resurrect relationships,
Mhm.
and things like that? And then I've been asked to do a number of podcasts because of my LinkedIn profile. I've been asked to be part of board searches because of my profile.
Mhm.
Um, I've been asked to join a platform that has startups, investors, and advisors. And I'm interested in being an advisor
Fantastic.
because of LinkedIn. And my platform. I've been kind of like amazed at how many different things have come to me just from LinkedIn.
Right.
Not me reaching out to somebody, but them seeing my profile and reaching out to me.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm so happy to hear that. Is there anything I haven't asked or anything left unsaid that you want me to know or you would like to share for the person who might be watching this?
Well, I mean, I guess your last question, just to expand on, it truly was like amazing. I mean, because it's within a month or two after putting it out on LinkedIn, all these things started to happen, right?
That's
And
amazing.
also consulting jobs have come to me. I mean,
That's
I never
amazing.
expected that much. I really didn't. Um, so it's really pretty powerful, and I think it just it's the difference between knowing what you're doing and not knowing what you're doing. Like I mean, when
Yeah,
someone when an expert is an expert, right,
right.
and done it 10,000 times, you're an expert.
That's it,
um,
right?
and
You're very
also
kind.
I think that there's a you build a community too, all the different programs you have and all the different webinars you have.
Hmm.
It's nice to have a group that you can reach out to, and it's a community.
No, and our CAM community, I love it, and I love that you're a part of it. And this has been awesome. I'm really excited that you've had such a great experience and that the journey's been, fruitful. And I just want to say thank you for sharing the story. I'm really appreciative, and I know the team's really enjoyed working with you. So thank you so much.
Yeah, I mean, I went into thinking this may not be worth it, but I'll give it a try.
You know
This is the
what? That
best. It's the best
skepticism is
money I ever
real.
spent. It's the best money I ever spent. Hands
Thank
down,
you.
it is
No, but that
truly.
skepticism is real, and the barrier to entry can be low in this business. So it's probably a healthy skepticism for many, but it's really flattering to hear that this was a great investment for you. And yeah, I love it. I mean, I get awkward too, so it's all good. Thank you for saying that. And all right, well, thanks so much.